And next up, we have HITLAB's own Lisa Crimes with Shay Reid from FFF to talk a little bit more about disruptive technologies in life sciences. Shay.
Or the clicker.
Awesome. Well, Stan just introduced you, but Shay, I'm very excited to hear about this. Presentation title is the best, right? What are you waiting for? So what are you waiting for? Tell us about FFF and what's going on there.
Yeah, so Patrick did a great job of introducing the company this morning, and we're our core business is distribution. We're the supply chain and logistics experts within our industry, and I thought it would be appropriate. There we go. Too hard. If you go back to 1991, that was somewhat of a pivotal point in human history, at least in my opinion. It was a point before the most rapid development of innovation in our history had occurred. In 1991, Van Halen, so I'm kind of dating myself a little bit here. This was like the it band of the 80s, came out with a song named Right Now. And part of the lyrics of that song was, what are you waiting for? Right now, it means everything. And the same thing in 1991, another unique thing that happened, that was the year that the internet became commercially available with unrestricted use. And for a lot of industries, take fast moving consumer goods, they started focusing on that right now moment. The right now moment when you and I as consumers were at the register and we purchased one of the gadgets, a tube of toothpaste, and it immediately recorded the sale of that merchandise and sent upstream messages back to distributors, back to manufacturers that one had just been bought in the supply chain and it needed to be replenished. And it began this innovation and allowed many industries to start taking advantage of the new technology and how they could manage inventory differently and making sure that inventory was placed at the right place where it was being used for the right consumers. Pharma was a little bit different. When you look at the pharmaceutical industry and you look at compare it to the technology and innovation that happened, pharma was very much on the same type of uptrend with all of the new drugs that were being introduced in the 80s and especially the 90s and late 90s with the blockbuster drugs that came on board. You saw, the 80s had a total of about $12 billion of total pharmaceutical revenue, escalating to $40 billion in the 1990s, and then peaked at 122 in 1 year, 122 billion in 2000 and escalated to 2005. Again, great innovations for us as patients and having new drugs on the market. But from a supply chain and logistics standpoint, it created a situation that was basically the right opportunity for bad actors to come in. And because of that, in 2005, Catherine Eben wrote a book that really highlighted what had happened in the industry, particularly from the supply chain and logistics side, with these bad actors coming in and basically introducing counterfeit product. The name of the game was buying low and selling high. And in 2005, the industry and the regulators had to correct that. And literally the industry went from thousands of distributors down to very few. And with that, a lot of focus in the innovation of the industry was placed on anti-counterfeit measures from 2005 forward. But we never really came back to that place as logistics and experts and asking that question about right now. And the right now in our industry is the patient. When the patient is there with the provider and making sure that the provider has the drugs, has the medical devices that's readily available for the patient need. And that's where we've came back to focus at FFF Enterprises through our right now inventory technologies, is making sure that the provider always has what's needed for the patient from a product and a pharmaceutical standpoint. The technology that we've created is basically, it's a cloud ecosystem built on Google Cloud. That is the backbone and the brains of our technology that connects many different devices that are deployed to our customers' locations, that manages, monitors inventory, ensures that the product is kept to temperature, communicates in real time back to us. Again, real time being the right now moment, and also provides immediate information back to distributors, us, when the product needs to be restocked. And also we've architected the technology so that we can also do the right thing and make that real-time information available to our manufacturing partners. We have a couple of different technologies, and as we went through this cycle of development, we focused on one. We had some legacy technology that started with RFID, but making sure that the technology that we built was configurable and scalable and the right fit for the different physicians' offices and pharmacies where it may reside. We have in the demo room, we have two different types of new technology. One is our Flex model, which is a space-saving solution meant for a non-acute area that has maybe a couple of drugs that might be with the right now inventory program. And then also we have a secure model, which you can also see. And the secure model is a highly configurable machine. It doesn't require any type of modification to our manufacturer's product prior to going into the technology. Is configurable so that it can have a refrigerated zone or an ambient zone. And again, it works to facilitate the workflow of the provider so that they can do what they're the experts on and taking care of the patient, and leave it to us as a logistics expert to make sure that we're managing and automatically restocking the inventory.
That's awesome. So we can actually see the demo of the devices here too, is what you're saying?
Yeah,
too, so-
absolutely. We have some set up in the back. We'll be happy to show them. My partner, Brad Foltz, or I will be glad to talk with you.
That's awesome. Well, I have just a couple of questions around that. It's fascinating to hear this and how it all comes together too. But so how would this concept benefit more of a pharmaceutical manufacturer beyond what the distributors are providing today?
So again, we've architected the technology for that right now moment.
Yeah.
To my knowledge, there's not another distributor that has technology in place that can communicate back to the manufacturer that there has been real-time usage of your product at a certain facility by a certain provider. And again, I think that the industry is going to be able to do many different things in better managing inventory and inventory placement, which will be a benefit to the manufacturer because they won't need as much inventory in the system. Plus, they'll know more about the usage of the product.
That's great. And how is this technology and service typically funded?
So the way that we've architected the technology, and a lot of technology providers, when you start developing technology, maybe look at a single source of revenue or margin. We believe the technology that we've built provides value to several different parties. One, the provider. Providers, there's probably many in the audience that can verify this. They want to take care of the patients.
Yeah.
Their expertise are taking care of patients, not managing inventory. We provide value to the providers by managing the inventory, providing immediate restocking notification or automated restocking so that they don't have to worry about having inventory in place. We're basically supplementing FTEs on their part. So there's value where we can extract margin for ourselves and benefit revenue for that service to the provider, but not relying solely on that, because we also want to be able to provide value back to the manufacturer through the information and data. Someone said earlier in one of the presentations, data is the new commerce, and we believe that real-time data is an even better commerce.
It means everything.
It means everything.
That's awesome. Well, I know we had a short chat here today, so I don't know if there's an opportunity for questions, if we even have time for that. And if not, then that means you've said everything. That's awesome. Thank you, Shay.
Thank
This
you.
is so great to hear more, and I appreciate getting to chat with you.
Thank you.
And so in looking at what's been paved over, what's been paid for the digital health disruptions that are now going from really rapid deployment and rapid usage during the pandemic, we're seeing more of a paced and cadent flow of digital health disruptions like what we just saw from Shay. in Lisa's interview. And we're seeing that as well in some other areas that have taken hold during the last 5 years, as controversial as certainly Bitcoin and blockchain have become over the last few weeks with some of the news headlines that you read. We're still looking at blockchain as the most secure effort right now to maintain data secrecy, data privacy.